Hey everyone, just wanted to record something really quickly. I haven't recorded in a while and just had this weird insight that I wanted to share. Let me know what you think. So this past week has been a doozy in various ways for people I know. Some stuff that I thought was going to happen just was clearly not meant to happen, which is all fine and good. And, we all get to be flexible when things don't evolve or go the way we think they're going to go. And in any case, I was just running quick errands before the weekend, and as I was walking to the car and putting the groceries away, the thought came to me of the saying, which I'm sure many of you have heard, which is get your act together. Get your act together. How many of you, and maybe I'm dating myself here, a Gen X or whatever, but how many of you were told or grew up with the saying, like, I got to get my act together. I don't have my act together. That person really needs to get their act together. And I don't know why it popped in, but it did, because it felt like it wouldn't be quite fair to say I didn't have my act together this week. But there was definitely a moment where I was like, I need to just kind of stop everything and go in, right? I need to just kind of take a break and stop worrying about projects I'm working on, things I'm working on, and go, and just pause. And thank God, I'm so grateful. Thank you, God. Like, I was able to listen to my body, my inner knower, my intuition, whatever you want to call it, and not feel guilty about it, right? That could be latent perfectionism or type A, whatever. But in any case, just now, this idea of like, get your act together. So where does that come from? I have not done any research. I'm literally just turning on the camera. But think about it in your life. Where do you feel like you need to get your act together? And is that being fair to yourself? And let's focus for a minute on the fact that we're saying it's an act, okay? So how much of that is old stuff? How much of that is old energy? How much of that is old belief that we need to be living and putting forth an act? How much of that is still part of your calibration or orientation in your mind when you go out into the world, when you go out into a conversation, when you're at work, when you're at home, in your relationships? How much of it is an act? And do you need to get your act together? So there's this split, right? Or there's this, and we're complex. And, in Hebrew, the word for face is plural, like panim. That we all have many faces. We all have many sides. We are not single cell organisms. Okay, so here's a question. What act is helping you in your life? Is it short-term or long-term? What act is not helping you? And what fear is underneath that act that is keeping you stuck in it? And is there something to consider about dropping the act? Is there something to think about when it comes to the cost benefit of maintaining and holding up that act, right? We all know examples, maybe in our lives personally, or, famous people where they just can't hold up the act anymore. And very tragically and very sadly, this sometimes leads people to think there is no way out, and they do things that harm themselves, or in worst case scenario, possibly take their life or someone else's life, right? So when we feel like the act is no longer sustaining us, and we don't have an image of or an understanding of what else is out there or what else is possible other than the act, then that can be unhelpful, to put it simply. So think in your own life about the act you may or may not be feeling like you got to, get it together. Think about the act in your life that you are holding on to. Now, it doesn't mean we need to, let it all out in a way that's like excessive, unhelpful ego. But how much more authentic can you be? How much more authenticity can you bring to the table in your life? And can you let the act go somewhat? And can you stop looking outside for the signposts in other people that you're taking your directions from mentally or emotionally about what act you need to uphold? And it's, so yeah, this is just a thought coming to me Friday morning, running errands, about that phrase, get your act together. I will just end this with, get your real act together, if you want to use that phrase, or get your authentic self together, which sounds whatever. You get it together when you go in. You get your life on the road to where you are living what you came down into this iteration for when you go in. And so many of us are terrified of that. So we want to get our act together. When we start to slip, when we start to crumble, when we don't succeed or we don't whatever, and we feel like, oh my God, I need to get that act together. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about where people need support or help and they are not able to function or go through their responsibilities or their commitments, obligations. I know those are not like the most fun sounding words, but like we need to, as I use this phrase with my friends, like put on our, our big kid panties, right? Our big kid underwear. You got to put on those big girl pants or big boy pants or whatever you want to call it and just do the thing. But there's a balance between getting done what you need to get done and like being not connected to your soul and not connected to your heart and not connected to that inner voice which knows what you really want. And it's a process and it's a journey. So if you have that inner voice saying, get your act together, question it, and invite it to sit in the corner and just watch you. Maybe not have an act together, but have yourself together with that inner part of you that wants to be integrated in the way you put yourself out there. Imperfectly, raw, not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, and that is okay. We are increasingly living in a world of questionable authenticity, questionable reality, not being able to discern. So at least the journey needs to start with discerning what is inside. So you don't need to get your act together all the time. You don't need to have it all together all the time. But have that conversation with your source and with your spark and with your energy and with your soul. Even if it sounds totally crazy to you right now, I just invite you to listen to that as it's written, a still small voice inside. And know that God is. Know that source is. Know that the one is. Know that if that rubs you the wrong way, the universe is. Know that there is something greater than yourself. We are coming up to the holidays of Christmas next week, and Hanukkah starts next week. And the first candle of Hanukkah is Christmas Day. And that is pretty energetically cool and special. So for all of you who celebrate Christmas, I wish you a meaningful, joyful, connected, and wonderful Christmas holiday with good cheer. And for those of you celebrating Hanukkah, I wish for you an incredibly brilliant, glorious, meaningful, connected Hanukkah celebration where we are increasing, for those of us who celebrate, in light, being the light, sharing the light, spreading the light. You're going to hear a lot about the light in the next week. But just, and even if you are by yourself lighting that Chanukiah, or not lighting a Chanukiah and thinking about the Chanukiah, the menorah for Hanukkah is called Chanukiah. Just connect again to that source of light. You are a light. You have something to shine. And for those of you who don't celebrate either Christmas or Hanukkah, if you ever see this video, I wish you just peace and wellness and joy and well-being, whatever your religion or non-religion or belief or practice is, just for literally, peace on earth, goodwill towards all. and be the light and be brave. And may 2024 have given you good lessons to bring forth into 2025. This is the year, the Jewish year, which began in the fall. 5785 actually stands for Tafshin Pei Hey. Here's a little Hebrew lesson, which is the year of the mouth. Peh is mouth. So use your words and your mouth for good, and create good things through the words that you share and you speak. And it's an imperfect journey, but take heart, drop the act, get your head, heart, soul aligned so you can put forth words of creative goodness. And much love. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your holidays for those celebrating, and thanks for listening.